Hey guys, welcome to the 2016 Acura MDX. This is a normal car, and as some of you learned when I did a Honda Civic review recently, if I'm going to bang out 4 of these things a week indefinitely, sooner or later I'm going to have to do some normal cars. And I'm not getting paid off to do normal cars, despite what some people ridiculously say. But this is the MDX. It has 290 horsepower, 3.5 liter, the Honda corporate V6 as it were. It has a new ZF 9-speed gearbox with paddle shifters, all-wheel drive. It weighs about 4,300 pounds, and this one has basically every single option, and it's $58,000. It starts at 43. 7 passengers. It's very comfy in here. Let's go for a drive. I mean, I'm not kidding myself. This thing is not sporty really in any way, but we got to drive it, so we're gonna go drive it. And we're off. I'm in sport auto mode right now. You have to disable start stop every time, which is a bit annoying. And actually, when it comes on, when you get your VTEC around 4,000 RPM, it does make a nice sound. Below that, it's like silent. So first off, what do I like about this car? Well, I'm gonna have to tell you a story about a time before Lexus decided to start making sports cars. Lexuses used to be quiet, isolated, refined, reliable, and somewhat simple machines. The RX 300 comes to mind. And then a couple of years ago, they decided to make it look like Shredder and handle like a sports car. That alienated some people, and I am here to steer those people into the MDX. I personally could care less if my crossover is a sports car or if my SUV is a sports car. I want isolation, I want refinement, I want a bit of utility, some space, a good ride, and this has all that. The steering feel is just about zero, and the pedal and brake feel, average. It's average. But that's not what this is for. This is for practicality with a hint of luxury. I will say, oh boy, construction. Oh, all right, well, that's not gonna, that's brand new. We'll turn around. Let's check out the turning radius. Also, when you're doing 3-point turns, it's buttons down here, not a shifter, so you do have to look down and make sure the button is, I don't like the buttons. I like a lever. There's also nowhere to rest my hand anymore. So let's go into sport manual. That's full. So even with 9 speeds, it's not a rocket, although it will do 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds, which is impressive for something of this size and heft with such a medium engine anyway. I will say that the new Civic, again, I'm bringing it up because it's a good car, makes this look bad. The materials, the quality, the leather, and the technology in that car for 27 grand makes this one at 58 grand feel like a little bit of a waste of money. Even though you've got all the heated and cooled seats and all the safety features, the lane departure, the crash mitigation, the sensors and the cameras, and this has all of that stuff. But it's hard to see, dollars in features as much. Like, for instance, the Jeep Grand Cherokee diesel is the same price as this. The BMW X5 is around the same price as this. You can get into a Q7 for about the same price as this. And even though you might miss out on a couple of those features, the materials and the feel, and those cars feel a little more special, built to a little bit higher standard. The fit and finish and the materials are kind of the same as the Civic, which you get for 27 grand loaded. And so while you do get the utility, like I get this rubber, this soft rubber here, which isn't bad, but it's not leather, but it's utility. If it gets wet, that's okay. It's sort of like in pickup trucks where you want it to look luxurious and feel kind of luxurious, but ultimately it has to take a little more abuse. If you have young kids, maybe you don't want to get an X5 and get that leather all messy from your kids or your dog or whatever, but some of the more wear surfaces here are not as soft, but more durable. So it's a trade-off. It doesn't feel ultra luxury, it feels medium luxury, but you get a bit better wear and utility out of the whole thing. 9 speeds is a lot, but you still find yourself using the same 3rd gear, 4th gear. Nice 458 there. And then the 9 is just like, it's super overdrive. My cumulative average fuel economy for the last week is 14.5, and that's admittedly city and heavy foot canyons. You'd expect a little better. I think you can get mid-20s in this thing if you drive it like a normal human being. Radio sounds good. I'm not entirely sold on this touchscreen. It actually felt a little easier to use in the Civic. You do get scrolly wheels and stuff on the steering wheel, which are helpful, but it sounds really nice. Power. It's just a normal car. I mean, it's not blown my mind in any one way, but it's a well-rounded and practical package. It's not a headache. It's good if you're stuck in traffic. You got radar cruise control as well, which is a great thing to have. Works good. I used it. It's very nice. But overall, it's right in the middle of where it should be. The styling is right in the middle. It's not offensive, or even it doesn't even really stand out at all. You could even go so far as to call it lightly bland. But if you're not into the shredder style of the Lexus, or you don't want to go German, it's inoffensive. It says, I make a good living, but most of my money is in my savings account and not going to my lease payments. Unfortunately, even though it says that, a lot of your money is going to be going to your lease payments, especially if you get the fully loaded one here at 58 grand. Go, go, go! Yeah, it's not fast. The brakes are really good once or twice, and then they fade quickly. Big surprise there, I know. But I think Acura's got for this kind of money, I think we need to up the interior game a little bit. We need to give it a little more attitude without going full shredder. But for a car like my mom wants, my mom left Lexus when they decided to become sporty. And this would have been a good option. Also, if you like the idea of a Lexus RX, and I just keep bringing up the RX because I have a lot of experience with them, they're not good for taller drivers. My knees hit the dash. This is almost exactly the same type of experience as an earlier middle RX, except with a lot more room if you're taller. So this thing's pretty solid. It's practical, it's refined, it's comfortable. Dynamically, it's whatever. But as a runaround thing, it's not bad. And if you can skim on some of the options and get one of these for under 50 grand as opposed to 58 like this, you have a lot of car physically for the money. It's nice. They did not pay me for this review. They lent me the car for a week, just like all the other press cars. Goodbye.